Welcome everyone. Thanks for joining us today. Let's begin our session with a wonderful quote. You either control your mind or it controls you. Greetings of the day. Good evening, everyone. I, Ashika Malhotra, being your host for today's international webinar on the topic how to use your mind. Operationally extend my warm greeting and a very good evening to all of you present here. As we know that set clear goals, clearly define your objectives to guide your thinking and decision making. Organize information, arrange thoughts systematically to enhance comprehension and problem solving. Talking about the SEMS Welfare Foundation, we are a Section 8 not for profit company registered under the Companies Act 2013 with the various recognition from Niti Aayog, MSME, MPCON, DTU, GKY, and more. Recognized as a startup by DIPP, MCI, and awarded Best Service Award for National Contribution. SAMS Group, with an active network of 5,000 plus professionals, published books, and an international journal, organized education and health camps for underprivileged children, promoted digital and financial literacy, and contributed to society. Our initiative, DigiSaksham, has developed content for 300 plus courses in IT, BFSI, retail entrepreneurship, impacting diverse age groups. We have executed a skilling project for 600 inmates, signed MOUs for training, collaborated with various organizations, and conducted international conferences. FM leads another SAMS initiative, empowers women through workshops and newsletter conducting awareness programs in digital literacy, marketing, and career development across different industries. We have impacted over 1,000 women across states and recently celebrated a milestone of 100 women associated with the program. On behalf of the whole SEMS family, I welcome you all for today's international webinar, How to Use Your Mind Operationally. And to add to our guest of honor, today's speaker is Mr. Felix Ediolemi. It is a great honor to have you with us, sir. We are grateful for your presence here with us today. Let me introduce to the speaker. He is the principal consultant to the Tremendous Consulting and the creator of the phenomenal 1000x Results coaching program, an extraordinary coaching program for individuals and organizations who desire to move from incremental result to exponential results. He's the author of award-winning book How to Borrow God's Brain to Succeed and 15 other books on success, leadership, and motivation.
Thank you for that great introduction. I'm excited to be here today. I was here last year to speak on the concept of quantum thinking. I think that should be around the November last year. And so I'm so grateful for extending the invitation once again to me to speak on how to use your mind operationally. But before we get into the discourse, first, you might want to be curious. Why do you want to listen to me on the subject of the mind? Of course, apart from my background in science and psychology, theology, I've invested the last 12 years of my life study the mechanisms of the mind, how the mind works and how the mind operates. And of course, I've also invested several hours listening to audio messages and watch countless numbers of videos on how the mind works. And so I believe that the subject of the mind is quite critical and important, and you want to be excited of the opportunity to learn about the greatest tool that you have, the greatest power that you possess as an individual. And so I want you to fasten your seatbelt as we explore, as we get to know ourselves more and discuss on the subject of the mind. And of course, my focus in this presentation, I'm going to focus on the mechanisms of the mind. We'll also be looking at the concept of de-operationalized mind. We'll also be looking at the concept of the operationalized mind, and then we'll be looking at how to operationalize your mind, how to operationalize your mind. So it's going to be quite interesting. I want you to pay close attention And of course, if you have any question, I'll be willing to answer your question. So let's get into it. Let's start with a quotation by the United Negro College Fund. It says that a mind is a terrible thing to waste, but are wonderful things to invest in. From here, we can know that there are two things you could do with your mind. There are two things you could do with your mind. Number one, you could either waste your mind or invest in your mind. You could either waste your mind or invest in it. So what we are doing today is basically investing in your mind. Of course, I was listening to Warren Buffett recently when he said that the greatest investment he has ever made was not in stock, because quite a number of people felt that Warren Buffett's greatest investment was in stock. But he said that the greatest investment he has ever made was the investment in himself. That was why he reads about 5 books in a week. So, what we are doing basically this time is to invest in our mind. And of course, please let me know if you can hear me. If you can't hear me, please let me know in the chat box. Okay. And of course, I want our interactions. Though you are muted, you can let me see your emojis, emoticons. You can say yes. So if what I'm saying resonates with you, let me know that we are together. Okay. So, of course, I asked to know Edward de Bono why write a number of his books, Sound Mind, and before he passed away, we had the interactions together. But Edward de Bono said, "You have a beautiful mind," and I think he has a book with that title, "How to Create a Beautiful Mind." And of course, as every one of us here today, one thing you must take for granted is that you have a beautiful mind. You have a beautiful mind, and you must learn to use your beautiful mind. You must learn to use your beautiful mind to create your success, to create any reality that you want to create in life. So let's get to the first part of this discourse. Let's look at the mechanisms of the mind. Of course, nobody has ever seen the mind. The closest things that people have seen is the brain. And of course, I will be explaining the interconnectivity between the mind and, of course, the background. Let's look at the mind as the software and the brain as the hardware. Of course, if you are familiar with your computer comes with the hardware where you can store your files, store your softwares, and all of that. But of course, you need to install the software. So the mind is the software part of your body that nobody can see it, but of course we can see the effects of whatever is going on in your mind. Everybody can see the effect of what is going on in your mind, though they might not be able to see your mind. And now let's look at the components of your mind. The mind is not, it's not that we have two minds. We actually have one mind divided into two components or two departments. These two components has been accepted to be your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. The best way to describe it is to look at the iceberg. The tip of the iceberg is the conscious mind, and the deeper part of the iceberg is the subconscious mind. And pay attention, because to me, once you master and understand your conscious and your subconscious mind, then you hold the key that can unlock the door to your success, that can unlock the door to your greatness in life. So, and this is quite very interesting. And mastering this will place you into 5% of people who understand life and who actually master the act of living. Now, let's look at the conscious mind. The conscious mind and the subconscious mind have different functions, and they play different roles in our lives. Basically, the conscious mind is okay. Can we have can the co-host assist me in admitting people coming in. Okay, so that I don't have to be doing that myself. Okay, thank you so much. Now, we have the conscious mind as the logical or rational or the thinking mind. If you look at the left side of my presentation, you could see the conscious mind to be the logical, the analytical, the rational, the thinking mind. And of course, within the conscious mind, you have the sensory. Within the conscious mind, you have the sensory and the what and the intellectual faculties. So the sensory and your intellectual faculty reside in your conscious mind, and they play different. They also play different roles, and I will get to them in a jiffy. Now let's look at the subconscious mind also. The subconscious mind can be said to be your emotional mind, your intuitive mind, or your compulsive mind. Is the doing part of your mind. Some people call it the sixth sense. And so let's look at the conscious mind and the subconscious mind and how they interact before we move into their connection to the brain, and of course how they influence your result in life. The conscious mind is connected to your sensory faculty. And when we talked about your sensory faculty, your sense organs, the sense of sight, taste, feelings, and hearing. The conscious mind is the part of you that is connected to the outside world, is the part of you that take information from the outside world. That is the sensory part of what is it called, the conscious mind. As we are talking now, you could hear me by your sense of hearing. If not, if you couldn't hear me, that means that this meeting, except we have an interpreter or somebody with sign language who will help you to understand what I'm saying, you wouldn't be able to make any sense of what I am saying. So the conscious mind help you to interact and relate to the outside world. Of course, and then other part of your conscious mind is your intellectual faculty. Your intellectual faculties contain your imagination, your willpower, your perception, your intelligence, and your memory. So within the intellectual faculties, you have the imagination, the willpower, the memory, the intelligence, and of course your perception. All of these reside in your intellectual faculties. Now, your conscious mind have capacity to accept ideas. That's why you could see ideas there. Just conscious mind have the capacity to accept ideas or reject ideas. Of course, your subconscious mind, if you look at below the diagram, your subconscious mind can only accept, approve, or validate idea. It has no capacity to reject any idea. Of course, I believe we are following. This is very interesting and very powerful, because I found that a lot of time, people learn about biology or learn about physics, learn about jewelries, they learn about cars, but quite a number of people don't take time to learn about themselves, about their mind, and the power they carry within themselves. Now, when you were young, between the age of 1 to 5 or between the age of 1 to 7, your conscious mind is not operating, is practically de-operationalized. Between the age of 1 to 7, you receive stimuli. Stimuli from the environment comes directly into your subconscious mind. That is why whatever you tell a child between the age of 1 to 7, that is likely to be what the child is going to become in his later years. Of course, if children raised from India, for instance, behave in a certain way, because that was the culture they find themselves. Children raised in Nigeria, for instance, where I currently live, they also behave in certain way because these were the things they were exposed to while they were young. So at a very young age, the conscious mind cannot reject ideas. Whatever ideas that comes from the environment goes directly into the subconscious mind. Whatever ideas from parents, from teachers, from authority figure, every single idea from outside just goes directly. And of course, by the age of 7, the subconscious mind has already formed the opinion about the world, However, the opinion could be very wrong. And this is why more than 95% of people living in this world today operate from entirely wrong premise. Because if your premise is wrong, your conclusions will be wrong. Today, many people also have wrong conclusions about their ability. They have wrong conclusion about their power. They have wrong conclusion about themselves because of the information they received while they were young. Let's narrow it down. Imagine you were raised in a family where every day you wake up, somebody is telling you you are good for nothing, you are an average person, you are dumb arch, you are nobody, you are stupid. And you keep hearing this again and again and again by repetition, again and again and again for the first 5 to 6 to 7 years of your life. Your subconscious mind will accept the fact, your subconscious mind will accept the fact that you are stupid. And today, quite unfortunately, you will see a grown-up adult thinking that he's stupid. As a writer, I've seen people writing me from all over the world and telling me that, oh, I feel empty. I don't feel I'm capable. I don't feel enough. I don't feel I'm enough. I don't feel like I could do this. And I looked at them and said, why? Why are you feeling like that? There is no justification for that feeling. However, the idea these people have accepted while they were young, where they could not consciously accept or reject ideas, and those ideas have sink into their subconscious mind, now influence their conclusion about themselves. I hope you are following. Now, if you are following, please in the chat box, I want you to type so that I know you are following me. Okay. And so the subconscious mind has great power, amazing power. Your subconscious mind regulates your digestion, it controls your heartbeat, and most of your involuntary actions are actually powered and controlled by your subconscious mind. Now, this is where it's interesting. Any idea accepted by the conscious mind, any idea accepted by the conscious mind, and then form an impressions on the subconscious mind, now begins to what dictate. If you look at the arrow leading to arrow, dictate your logic, dictate your actions, and dictate your behavior. So your action is not actually being controlled by your conscious awareness. Your actions and behavior and logic is being controlled by your subconscious ideas. That is why today some people know that certain things are wrong, but they cannot stop doing it. You've seen a medical doctor who is smoking. Of course, he has spent 7 years in medical school, and he has learned about the danger of smoking, but he could not help it because the idea in his subconscious mind override every other knowledge he has in his conscious mind. So this is why it's very important for a change to happen, for a man to transform his life or transform his result, or to have greater productivity in life. He needs to change the idea in his subconscious mind. He needs to change the idea in his subconscious mind. And we are going to get into that and how to rewire your subconscious mind, and of course rewire your brain and then create new reality. Now, if you see the arrow, this arrow here is your result in life. You see, if your result is great in life, it means that the idea in your subconscious mind, they are powerful ideas. that great ideas. If your result is mediocre result, you need to find out what is the idea in my subconscious mind. If your result is powerful, it's below average, then you have a below average idea in your subconscious mind. If your result is average, you have an average idea in your subconscious mind. If your result is subpar, that means you have a subpar idea in your subconscious mind. If you have extraordinary result, that means in your subconscious mind you have extraordinary idea. This actually take the power away from your environment, take the power away from the economy, take the power away from anybody, and then give the power to you. Because if your result is not something you are proud of, you've got the power to change that result. Okay, now I'm going to tie all of this together. This seems to be a very deep subject that will actually take us hours to fully do justifications to this concept. However, within the space of the time I have, I will try as much I can to give us a general panorama, a general perspective on this concept. Now, if you see this arrow leading to the brain, what is the connection of your conscious mind to the brain, which is, of course, connected to the result? You see, any thoughts you admit in your conscious mind goes into form a connections and pattern within your brain. Of course, what is your brain? Your brain is the most complex thing in the entire world. The brain is the most complex thing in the entire world. Complex than AI, complex than the greatest of computers in the world. Is the most powerful things. And of course, God has blessed you with one and blessed me with one. So we have fantastic thing upstairs. I think that is wonderful. You need to look at yourself and say, I have something fantastic upstairs. Because sometimes some people don't even believe that they have something upstairs. They think they are dumb. I don't know where they got that idea from. So let's look at the brain. Your brain contains about 100 billion neurons. 100 billion neurons. Now convert that to dollars. That means that you are carrying $100 billion around. Of course, that makes you to be very wealthy and very rich. And of course, all these neurons, what do? They transmit and receive electrochemical signals. And these electrochemical signals are basically thoughts. They are basically thoughts. So every day, your brain is transmitting and receiving thoughts 247. As we are talking now, your brain is either transmitting, I'm poor, I'm stupid, I'm not good enough, I'm not great, I can't do it, I can't make it, I am just average. Or your brain is transmitting, I'm powerful, I'm great, I'm successful, I can accomplish my goal, I can make things happen. And of course, whatever thoughts that are being transmitted from your conscious mind to your brain and vice versa forms what is called connection and pattern. And once a pattern is formed, once you form a pattern of a reality within your brain, what happens? The pattern filters your reality. You begin to form your frame of reference, your premise about life based on your pattern. This is what the psychology call cognitive biases. You begin to move towards idea that you are sympathetic towards and move away from the idea that you are not sympathetic towards. For instance, if you have been told that making money is hard, it's hard to make money. Perhaps you grew up in an environment with parents that find it difficult to make money, make ends meet. And you have been hearing it continuously and consistently that it's hard to make money. It's hard to make money. What happened? And you grew up in an environment where people struggle to make money. Your brain formed a pattern. It is called a neural pathway. So you form a neural pathway within your brain that shows that making money is hard. Making money is hard. What happened? Once a pattern is formed, your outside realities begins to move towards information that suggests that making money is hard. You begin to attract friends This is the basis, the scientific basis of the law of attraction. You begin to attract friends that also have the reality that making money is hard, right? Because in your brain, the pattern in your brain is that it's hard to make money. And of course, the wonderful thing is that the brain is constantly changing. You are constantly forming new connections and establishing new patterns every single day. The science of neurogenesis and, of course, neuroplasticity has told us that our brain is not cast on stone, that our brain we can actually reorganize our brain and restructure our brain. And of course, every pattern you form within your brain will dictate your logic, will dictate your action, and will dictate your behavior. This is why Professor Perkins from the University of Harvard, I think is a psychology, who said that 95% of the error of thinking is not the error of logic. Rather, it is the error of perception. Once you have wrong perception about yourself, or have wrong perception about other people, or have wrong perception about your ability, then your logic becomes irrelevant. In fact, your logic will spring from that perception. For instance, if you have a perception of your unlimited ability, it dictates your logic. You begin to see yourself that you can conquer any mountain, you can make anything happen, you can bring anything to pass. However, if your perceptions of yourself is that you are average, you will move towards average relationship, you will move towards average job. Everything around your life will reflect your perception. So, how all of this can change. All of this can change. I said earlier that while we were young, our conscious mind is not operating. Why? Because we lack the capacity to reject ideas. So for instance, when you were young, and somebody tells you, making money is hard. Making money is hard. Because you were young, you lack the capacity to say, no, making money is not hard. Making money is not hard. But because you were young, you just accept that idea. And then you pass that idea in your subconscious mind, because you hear it often and often. It forms an impression in your subconscious mind. And of course, somebody was thinking, okay, what is the subconscious mind? Basically, your subconscious mind is the part of your mind that is working that you are not aware of, or your unconscious mind, your subconscious or your unconscious mind. It simply means that you are not aware of what is going on there, but that does not mean it's not influencing your results. And that is why it's important to ensure that whatever is going on in your subconscious mind is in alignment with the results you want in life. It's in alignment with the goals, with the achievements you want to get in life. This to me is quite very important, and I believe that everybody should take time to invest in this kind of knowledge to actually understand how their mind works and how to create new realities. Now that you are old, when you were young, your conscious mind have the capacity to accept any ideas or reject any idea. But you were young. So, hello? Hope everybody can hear me. Okay, great. So when you were young, you have the capacity, the conscious mind have the capacity to either accept or reject any idea. But because you were young, your subconscious or your conscious might simply accept information from the environment, from the teachers, from the parents. And all of these people don't know more than what they are telling you. So they said money is hard because of that is the reality. That is the level of their awareness. Do you know? It took me more than 30 years of my life, or even more, to realize that money is the easiest thing to make in life. Everything I've been told, every information I've heard has been money is hard. You need to struggle. You need to hustle. You need to do this. You need to do that. Those information reinforce the information I got while I was growing up, because indeed money was hard to come by when I was growing up. But now I realize that the easiest thing to make in life is money. So that means that idea that money is hard to come by is false. But because I was too young to analyze the ideas I received from the outside world, I simply receive everything into my subconscious mind, hook, line, and sinker. And of course, whatever is there begins to dictate my logic, dictate my actions, dictate my behavior, and of course, create my results. So there's nobody to actually blame. And so let's look at, now that you are old, now that you can reason, now that you can actually, you now know how your conscious mind works. How do you do that? Now, the first thing you must do is that you have something very powerful, that you don't need to accept any idea coming from anybody in the world, no matter who this person is. You have the capacity to analyze before you internalize. Let me say that again. I want you to write it somewhere that you can find it. I have the capacity to analyze before internalizing. What we do while we were young is that we just simply internalize ideas, suggestions, impressions from the outside world. In fact, many of us are careless. One of the greatest philosophers, King Solomon, said in one of his writings, he said, pay attention to what you think. He said, out of it, from out of your heart, flow the issues of life. Out of your heart. To me, the heart is talking about there is that pay attention to what goes into your subconscious mind, because whatever resides in your subconscious mind becomes your reality, becomes the realities around you. So you have to pay attention now that you are grown up. You now need to scrutinize ideas coming from people, scrutinize ideas coming from books. Now, before, when I read books, I simply open my mind. And of course, when you are reading books, you are less defensive. Every idea from the author is just going directly into your subconscious mind. When you are watching TV, your mind is less defensive. The ideas, the opinions of the speakers on TV, if you are not careful, simply goes into your subconscious mind. This is why advertisers pay millions for during international football to just flash 1 second, what is it called? Ads about their products and services. Why? Because they know that at that time you are less defensive, and so that idea can just escape through your conscious mind and sink deep into your subconscious mind. And of course, whatever enter into your subconscious mind becomes a springboard for your action. This is why many people buy things they never needed. Of course, you've heard of buyer's remorse. You buy things you never needed. Why did you buy it? Because your subconscious mind compel you to do that. Because once an idea forms in your subconscious mind, it becomes compulsive. So you are compelled to do it. And so now that you are an adult, you can think. You are not in prison. Somebody said there's no prison in life. The only prison is the prisons of your mind. But there is a good news. The good news is that you can escape from that prison. You can bail yourself out of that prison. You can get out of that prison. How? By rewiring your mind, by changing the wrong ideas in your subconscious mind and implanting right ideas in your subconscious mind. So how do you do that? For instance, let's take the examples of money again. When you were young, everybody has been telling you money is hard to come by. And now you grew up, your experience justify that reality. You are working 4 jobs or 3 jobs, and yet there's not enough money. You think that you need to do more work, right? You need to get more job so that you no. That is the wrong way to go about it. Getting more job will not solve your money problem. What will solve your problem is getting right idea about money. Once you get the right idea about money, then you create money on autopilot. You make more money while you were sleeping than even when you are awake. So what you want to do is to ask yourself, the idea I have about relationship, is it true? The idea I have about God, is it true? The idea I have about health, is it true? The idea I have about education, is it true? The idea I have about myself, is it true? How do I know it's true? If it is hurtful, if that idea is true, it will be helpful to me. It will help me to create extraordinary results. It will be beneficial. But if you look at your relationship and your relationship is nothing to write home about, if you look at your finances and you are struggling with making ends meet, if you look at your health and your health is in disarray, then you need to know that some ideas in your subconscious mind needs to be wielded out while planting new ideas into your subconscious mind. Of course, how do you get ideas into your subconscious mind? You get ideas becomes emotionalized in your subconscious mind by repetition. Constant repetitions of idea will create an impressions in your mind, in your subconscious mind. How do you fall in love with a guy? You keep seeing him all the time. You keep thinking about him. Before you know it, you are falling in love. How do you fall in love with a lady? You keep seeing her again and again and again, thinking about her. And then what happens? A thought sink into your subconscious mind. Then you say, I cannot sleep without him. I can't sleep without her. What happened? Your subconscious mind have taken over. So the same way, if you want to move from negative ideas to positive ideas, then you need to start using your conscious mind operationally. This is where the concept of operationalized mind comes in. You start need to pay attention to the ideas from your environment and consciously choose what you accept and consciously choose what you reject. Now, nobody can force ideas upon you. That shows that you are grown. That shows that you are mature. So that means that any idea I accept, I need to critically analyze the idea and say, is it true? What is the premise? If your grandma says something, that does not mean it's true. Your grandma might have been misinformed by your grandpa, right? So age is not a proof that a certain idea is right or wrong. So you need to pay attention. For the fact that a professor, while you were in school, a professor says something, that does not mean that the professor is right. There are many theories in science that have been debunked, many theories in psychology, many theories in economics, that new realities, new studies are proving that they are not true. There was a time the entire world accepted the fact that the entire world was secular. And later, we find out that that was not true. That was not true. So new finding keep constantly coming. There was a time that thing, atomic theory said atom can neither be created nor destroyed. Atom is the least indivisible part of a particle. But of course, the like of Dominicans, the Rutherford, they came up and they told us that atom is not the least. There are protons, there are neutrons, there are electrons. And now, if you study quantum physics, you even know that within protons, within neutrons and electrons, there are subatomic particles. So, for the fact that a professor has said something, that does not mean that it's true. That is why you must analyze, critically analyze before you internalize. So, the ideas you impress on your subconscious mind must be ideas that are in harmony with the results you want to create in life. For instance, if you want to make millions in a month or millions in a year, the ideas in your subconscious mind must accept that it's easy to make money. If the idea in your subconscious mind is saying, if the ideas in your subconscious mind is that it's hard to make money, forget about it. No matter how much you try, no matter how much you labor, no matter how much connection you try to make, it won't work. Because your subconscious mind dictates your logic, it dictates your actions and dictates your behaviors. Of course, these are the things that create your results in life. Okay, I believe I've done a little justification to the concept of conscious mind and subconscious mind. More studies on this might go beyond the scope of this webinar. But let's go on. I will tie everything together as we look at the concept of operationalized mind and de-operationalized mind. Now, let's look at this. You cannot outperform the image of yourself that is stored in the subconscious mind. You cannot outperform the image of yourself that is stored in the subconscious mind. Don't forget about it. There's nothing you can do. If you want to change your life, you must change the image in your subconscious mind. Now, if the image in your subconscious mind is that you are an average guy, forget about it. Your result will be average. You will act average. Your relationship will be average. The way you carry yourself, you will carry yourself like an average person. However, if you can have an image of a superstar, an image of a super mega star in your subconscious mind, what happened is going to reflect in your logic, is going to reflect in your behaviors, in your actions, in the way you carry yourself, and this will change your result in life. So that is why it is very important to learn how your mind works and how to deliberately program your mind for great results in life. Of course, let's look at, many people have what I call de-operationalized mind. And of course, this concept of de-operationalized mind originated by my humble self. I created the concept. So if you are talking about the operationalized mind, please be kind enough to make reference to me. Okay. Now, a de-operationalized mind is a mind that is being controlled by outside forces. The operationalized mind is the mind being influenced by outside realities, by outside forces, by the economy, by what people say, by what friends say, by what family history. Is the operationalized. It's not active. It's not in charge. It's not in control. And most time, because of the stimuli coming from the environment is usually negative. Yesterday, I was at a place, and then CNN was on throughout the year, my time in that place. And everything I heard from CNN was about burial, about the fire that engulfed somewhere in New York, is about gunshot, is about war. Every single thing for more than 5 hours that I was in that place, everything coming from CNN. This is a global brand, and I know that quite a number of people watch CNN. It was negative. So I need to consciously, because there's no way I could leave the place, I need to consciously block my mind from that stimuli, because I know that that stimuli will not help me. I don't want to start imagining myself being in that kind of situation, or being in that kind of condition, or being in that kind of cycle, because it's basically negative. So the operationalized mind tends to be negative, is problem focused. If the operationalized mind will look for problem in an idea instead of the solution in it. If you tell some, or is the operationalized mind will not see possibilities. The operationalized mind will see more of negative than more of positive. Then another thing you need to know about the operationalized mind is that it's trapped in limitations and obstacles. The operationalized mind is trapped. Okay, I could see your question, and I think I will answer that at the end of this presentation. A de-operationalized mind is trapped in limitations and obstacles. It's just focusing on limitations. I don't see the way out. I don't see how to make it in life. I'm helpless. Psychology has one beautiful concept called learned helplessness. Learned helplessness. This is when you learn to be helpless. That is when you feel that you cannot exert authority and influence over your circumstances. You feel that you are trapped by circumstances. You feel that you don't have power to control your circumstances. So basically, a de-operationalized mind is trapped in negativity, is trapped in limitations, and then in obstacles. Of course, you have heard of the concept of inferiority complex. A de-operationalized mind breed inferiority complex, because it feels it's inferior to people, it's inferior to things, to circumstances. That, if he has to come up with 20 million, the operationalized mind will feel there's no way I could come up with 20 million. It's too big. So I am inferior to 20 million. Or a certain challenge, perhaps he needs to go for PhD and improve himself. The operationalized might feel inferior to that kind of project. How will I do it? I don't have time, I don't have money, I don't have energy. All of these things is the work of a de-operationalized mind. So let's look at operationalized mind. Now, the opposite of the operationalized mind is simply empowered mind. And empowered mind is simply the mind that is solution oriented, focused on growth and possibilities. And of course, how do you have empowered or operationalized mind? You develop operationalized mind by changing the ideas in your subconscious mind, and by impressing new ideas in your subconscious mind, and by accepting new ideas in your conscious mind, and then impress that new idea into your subconscious mind by different methods of doing that. And I think I will come to that while I'm answering questions so that I don't repeat myself. So by doing that, you focus on growth, you focus on possibilities. An operationalized mind is always thinking there's always a way. Perhaps I've not found it. Perhaps I've not found it. Perhaps I've not seen it. But there's always a way. There's always possibility. There's always alternative. I might not have discovered it, but if I look enough, if I search enough, if I ask enough, I'm going to find the answer. I'm going to find the answer. My soul is constantly seeking, is constantly searching, is constantly knocking because the mind is liberated. The mind is not trapped by circumstances and it's not trapped in negativity, it's not trapped in obstacles. The mind believes that I can fly, I can achieve anything, I can become anything. And when you are using your mind this way, you are operationalizing your mind. You are operationalizing your mind. Of course, let's go back to the greatest, one of the greatest philosophers who ever lived, and I'm quoting for him directly. Okay, I'm going to answer this question later. Please help me compile all the questions together. After my presentation, we could go back to all of them. Okay, King Solomon, which is reputed to be one of the wisest kings in history, said, "As a man thinketh in his heart, so he is." This line is very poignant, is very loaded with meaning. As a man thinketh in his heart, so he is. It didn't say, as a man thinketh in his heart, so he will be. He didn't say, as a man thinketh in his heart, so it could be. He said, so he is. Now, let's look at the concept of the heart. Which heart is he talking about? He's simply talking about the subconscious mind. He's saying that any ideas in your subconscious mind, so you are. I read one of Norman Vincent P. in one of his books, and he said that you are not what you think you are what you think. You are not what you think you are what you think. In other words, whatever ideas accepted in your subconscious mind, that is who you are. If you say you are great, you are great. If you say, okay, I think Henry Ford was reputed to have said that if you think you are great, if you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you can't. Either way, you are right. So if you think you are smart, you are. If you think you are not smart, you are. So you are right. If those ideas are the ideas accepted in your subconscious mind, then your life will reflect that. Okay. Now, how to operationalize your mind? How do you operationalize your mind? Now, the first thing is pay attention to what you pay attention to. Pay attention to what you pay attention to. I mentioned yesterday that I was in a place where CNN was on, but I didn't pay attention to what they are saying because it's about one crime, it's about one somebody died, somebody was in prison, so it was full of negativity. So I pay attention to what I needed to pay attention to, even though I was in an environment that I was getting stimuli. And those stimuli are because I worked on my subconscious mind. My conscious mind can simply reject ideas now. If you say something now that is not in alignment with my subconscious programming, my conscious mind simply reject it and say, no, I don't believe that. I don't entertain that. I don't subscribe to that. That is not true about me. So you need to start paying, in order to start operationalizing your mind, the first thing is you need to pay attention to what you pay attention to. If you have been paying attention to poverty, then you stop paying attention to poverty. Start paying attention to abundance. If you have been paying attention to sickness, start paying attention to health. If you have been paying attention to crime, start paying attention to peace. I think it was Mother Teresa who said, if you invite me to war protest, but if you invite me to peace campaign, I will come. That to me is someone whose mind has been well operationalized. Is someone whose mind has been well developed to say, no, I don't just pay attention to anything. No, and currently now in my nation, Nigeria, there are a lot of things going on. The price of gas, the price of food, the price of petrol, it has been on the constant increase. Things are just going high and high and high. And it seems that the leaders are helpless. The naira to dollar keep falling. So my country now, as we are talking, is full of negativity. You hardly go to a place where somebody is not complaining and all of that. Now you point yourself a duty, whether to pay attention to what people are saying around you or to pay attention to the reality you want to create, because you can still be in this country and live the life you wanted to live. You decide to live, and you will not be controlled by what is happening in the economy. You not control whether the price of things are going up, because you are not affected by those realities. So the next thing is you must practice what I call DPTP. DPTP. Of course, I also originated this concept. I created this concept, and it simply means deliberate positive thought pause. Deliberate positive thought pause. That during the day, most times we are just too, because of the hustling and bustings of life, because of so many demands around us, we just allow our mind to just think on its own. And before we know it, there are no deposits. So what you want to do with deliberate positive thought pause is to create like 5 minutes within an hour, or 5 minutes in 2-3 hours, where you deliberately stop, pause, and think something positive. And think something positive. Because you need to understand, in the science of the brain we talked about the other time, that your brain is made up of neurons, billions of neurons. And these neurons are constantly transmitting electrochemical signals. And of course, if you are not deliberately putting positive thoughts, your brain, the neurons will actually take signals from the environment. And of course, those signals will form a new, connections in your brain, and then begins to work and influence your thoughts, behaviors, and action, and then create your result. This is why a lot of people don't change. They are in one place for 5, 10, 20 years, and they don't change because the signals in their brain, the connections and the patterns in their brain is the same. Nothing is changing. They are not exposed to new ideas that can change their lives. So you can, when you start practicing deliberate positive thought pause, you just sit down and say, I'm capable. You just think well of yourself. Say, I can make it. I can do it. I can get it done. I can always find a way. I can always find answer. I am good enough. I can. I will. I am, all of that. So you deliberately do that. Then in the next 2 hours, you wait. Then you pause. And then you deliberately think positive thought. Of course, science and research finding have shown us that when you think positive, you release positive hormones, endorphin, in your body that will actually lower your stress level and reduce high blood pressure, and also reduce the growth of certain toxic disease in your body. And of course, negative thinking has been associated with high blood pressures. One of my recent findings also connects negative thinking to the growth of cancer. I've never heard of that before, but that is some of the latest finding in the field of the mind. So you want to sit down, deliberately pause, and think positive. Like me, I do that all the time. I am happy, I am well, I am successful, I'm prosperous, I'm a great demand all over the world. Because I am an author, I say that often to myself, that right now, thousands of people all over the world are buying my book. Perhaps after this seminar, you go to Amazon's and search for my name and buy my books. Okay, so another thing you can do is to focus on what you want rather than what you don't have. Most times, people de-operationalize their mind by simply focusing on what they don't have, or they focus on the past and focus on regret, or what they have lost, what they have missed, opportunities they have missed. So when you focus on the past and you focus on what you have lost, you are de-operationalizing your mind. When you focus on what you don't have, you are de-operationalizing your mind. But when you focus your attention on what you want, rather than focusing it on what you don't have, you are actually operationalizing your mind. So if you do all of this and you do it on a consistent basis, you have an empowered mind, and that empowered mind is operationalized mind. Now, I would like to round off with this, that your mind is a very powerful thing. Very powerful. When you feel it with positive thoughts, your life will start to change author unknown. Your mind is a very powerful thing. When you fill it with positive thoughts, your life will start to change. So you know the key to changing your life. You know the key to answer to every problems you might currently be facing today. That if you fix your mind, then you fix your life. If you fix your mind, you fix your life. I want to say thank you for listening. And of course, you can always connect with me. My website is there, felixglemy.com.ng, and my email is also there, think@felix.com.ng. So thank you for listening, and of course, we cannot have time to answer some of the questions in the chat box. Thank you so much, and thank you to Sam
Oh, wow. What a wonderful knowledge given by you, sir.
for inviting me, and to the entire India. I feel so grateful. Yeah. So I think I can hand over to the co-host right now.
Wow, what a wonderful knowledge given by you, sir. I hope our audience learns many new things from this session. I would like to highlight few points. Critical thinking, continuous learning, effective communication, problem solving, time management. Sir, there are a few questions that our audience want to be answered. So, with your permission, shall we proceed with the questions? So, how can we enhance our goal setting process to make it more effective for operational thinking?
Okay. Is that a question?
Yes.
Okay, please can you repeat that questions? Let me I didn't get that clearly.
How can we enhance our goal setting process to make it more effective for operational thinking?
How can we enhance positive thinking?
Our goal setting process to make it more effective for operational
Okay,
thinking.
okay. You talked about goal setting, time management, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Of course, like we said the other time, when people waste time, it's not because they don't want. It's not because they want to waste time. When people waste time, they waste time because of the ideas in their subconscious mind. The ideas in they have weak habits in their subconscious mind. Perhaps while they were growing up, they never was exposed to the wealth time manage environment. You see people who just waste time than people while away time. I remember when I was young, I saw an elderly friend of mine who said he want to take a stroll, and then I just joined him. And later he told me, "Don't you have anything to do?" I said, "Nothing." He said, "Because I just want to waste time. I just want to while away time." And of course, can you imagine? How will I just follow somebody who just want to waste time? But that was the environment I grew up in. I was not actually taught the importance of time. I didn't see a role model who could mirror to me the idea that time is important. So to have effective time management using your subconscious programming is to put the idea of the importance of time in your subconscious mind. But time is important. Time is not just money. Time is life. So if the idea in my subconscious mind is that time is life, then the way I see time is different, and automatically I'll be more effective in managing my time. I will be more effective. Automatically, I will be more effective. So I don't need to change anything from outside. I just need to change the idea I have. If you listen to me in the presentation, I said that the ideas in your subconscious mind will dictate every single thing you do. So what idea do you have about time? If the idea about time is that, oh, you have plenty of it, you can always waste it, then you are going to waste your time. But if you have the idea in your subconscious mind that time is life, time is important, then your reality will justify that. Okay. Thank you so much. I can see another question here.
So, sir,
Another question here is
yeah. So, my
another
second.
question here. Okay, I can see another question here that says, "What do you do when external environment brings in negativity deliberately?" What do you do when external environment brings in negativity deliberately? What do you do? You pay attention to what you pay attention to. You pay attention to what you pay attention to. Yesterday, where I was, there was no way I could leave that place, but with the feedback, the stimuli I was getting from the CNN program was negative, but I didn't pay attention to it. When I got home, I didn't have to discuss anything I heard from CNN with my wife, with my family. I didn't pay attention because there are other things I learned. So I focused on the reason why I was there. So when external environment brings in negativity, what you need to do is to program your conscious mind to say, no, I will not subscribe to this. I will not believe this. I will not allow this to move into my subconscious mind. So you are now a master over your mind. You are now a master over your mind. So I believe that helps. Then let me see if there's any other question. Please, I'm coming to my co-host. Let me quickly see if there's other questions here. How to deal with compulsive habits, okay? How to deal with compulsive habit like shopping unnecessarily. Excuse me. If it is your subconscious decision. Now, let me tell you this, that your subconscious ideas is a program, and that program has been there for so many years. That is why even this meeting is not enough to change your subconscious programming and subconscious ideas. If you want to change your subconscious programming and subconscious idea, you need to deliberately start a new program. It's like somebody who want to lose weight. You will not just you will not just change your diet in one day and lose weight. You need to now pay attention to what you eat and monitor what you eat. Go to gym and then do certain exercise and do that consistently for a while. Then you notice that there's change in your weight. That is exactly the same way we change our subconscious programming. You start paying attention to your mental diet, the kind of food, the kind of mental food you eat. You start paying attention to it, and then you start impressing new idea in your subconscious mind. You are telling yourself, I don't spend compulsively. I don't spend compulsively. I pay attention to what I buy. I think through on a matter before taking decision, and all of this. And so by repeating this empowering statement, your mind, your subconscious mind is now picking new ideas. It's now saying, no, this is not what we want. Then it's looking at, okay, and then of course people say for 21 days consistently becomes a habit. Science have found out that it sometimes is more than one day. Some people say 56 days, some people say 70 or 96 days. But what is important is if you are consistent and reinforcing new ideas into your subconscious mind, then you start seeing new results. That is how it works. Thank you. I think I've answered all the questions now.
Okay, again, thank you all for attending today's webinar. And if you have any additional questions, you can contact us by email or telephone. We are happy to provide additional support to you. Please follow us on our social media and subscribe to our YouTube channel for new learning.